brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Couldn't do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back to show our appreciation. Tune in daily, get your positive vibrations. Learn different words in your own native language. Learn being black ain't all about slavery. Put that in the school book, it's part of education. We need to rewrite it, need some better information. Like how we built the pyramids and formed our own nation. Visit different continents and then try to invade them. Way before Columbus, but that ain't none of these pages. It's all just rumors, just a bunch of speculation. But why I never admit every hero is Caucasian. Even white people starting to say this shit is racist. Like how they talking to blacks for this vaccination. This is Major TV and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Cause do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back to show our appreciation. This is Major TV and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Cause do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back to show our appreciation. Appreciate the views and appreciate the comment. Keeping it real, always giving you this content. Hoping that my people don't take nothing out of context. Giving you this knowledge, hoping that it change your mindset. Telling you you're beautiful like the dawn of the sunset. And letting them know black power is more than just a concept. Major TV, you know we do this for the people. Changing the community and raising future leaders. This is Major TV and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Couldn't do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back to show our appreciation. This is Major TV and this is brought to you by Major. Like and subscribe to get your notifications. Couldn't do it without you, need your full participation. And we giving back to show our appreciation.
Positive vibrations, positive vibrations. This is Major, and thank you for tuning to Major TV. Let's talk. We have a very, very special guest. So if you're tuning in, please like and share this live. Please like and share this live. I know I've been MIA, a lot been going on, and I'm always take the time to make sure that I bring something to the people that's helpful, that's worthwhile, and that's something we can really build with. And tonight we're talking about women, and a lot of times we forget about how hard it was for women, especially in the States, and to look at the trailblazers and look at the people, the women particularly, that have overcome so much. It's such an honor to welcome somebody that I was actually introduced to by way of a friend that suggested that this person definitely come on your platform and really tell her story and what she's doing. We talking about best-selling BossUp publisher Tam Luc salutes the achievements of Ketanji Brown. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Let me bring Tam Luc before I stumble over Justice Brown name. What's her first name again?
Tam.
I'm on the Justice name. Her name. Justice Brown first name. Ketanji Brown. Yeah, I was just trying to make sure I had a name right and what have you as I introduce you.
Okay.
First and foremost, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm really good. I mean, I usually don't have this much full of makeup on, but I just came from another little photo shoot, and I said, well, this kind of worked out. I have some makeup on at least.
You look beautiful, sister. Thank you for coming to Major TV. First, I want to just definitely give you a lot of credit. As I was doing all my research and reading about you, wow, your hand is delivered to everything. You have it all. But let's talk about you. What's your story and what bring you to this platform with so much of information that can be helpful to a lot of women?
Well, my parents, both of my parents were entrepreneurs. So I grew up in a house with, two Black people in the Midwest who did not have, college degrees. But my dad was a hustler, and he knew how to sell. He was very, very good at selling. My mom met him. She's from the country. He was from the city. But my mother was an entrepreneur. So when she got divorced from my real dad, she had 3 little kids. We were 4, 3 of us were under, 4 years old. So watching my mother start her own business, because it just made sense. She owned her own hair salon. She did it out of the house. She bought her own house by herself with 3 kids. So I'm watching this woman and just thinking she's incredible. I think she's, a superhero. When she got married to my stepdad, who had a really strong sales background and talent, because she's an entrepreneur, for her, it only makes sense to just own your own business. She talked him into starting a home improvement business. So in the 80s and 90s, they were making 6 figures. I mean, hustling. I watched them knock on doors. We are from Ohio, and I watched them knock on people's doors in and out of the country, making money, and I was really impressed. So I went to college. I was the first one in my family to go to college, got my degree in marketing. And so, of course, when you get a degree, that leads you right to corporate America. The problem was I wanted my parents' lifestyle. I wanted to be able to make the kind of money they made, have the freedom they had, travel the way they did. So I was always side hustling. So most of my career, I had a job, but side hustling, I was stuck, and I couldn't figure out how my parents, without a college degree, figured out how to be so successful. So that's what my whole thing was most of my life. So I learned how to sell from my dad. I learned marketing from college. I learned, hustling and really putting in that grind, kind of watching them. And that's what my background is. So now when I finally did figure it out, both my parents have passed away. When I finally figured it out, it was when my mom passed in 2016. And it was a really tough time for me, because I looked up to her quite a bit. But that's when I finally figured it out. And now the heart behind my business is because—
Hold up, Tam. I don't really want to go there yet. I need to talk about when you fell on your face.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you.
Let's talk about that, because we know you come from entrepreneur background. We know you was a young entrepreneur, teen entrepreneur, but then you hit rock bottom.
Oh yeah.
That's when that change, that transition came as far as what you're talking about now.
It came before that. It started before that. The first time I hit rock bottom was, I started getting real estate in early 2000s. Everybody was buying real estate back then. And I started trying to invest in some real estate. My parents were doing that, and they had a home improvement business. So in 2008, though, I lost everything. Like, I had gone from zero to $500,000 in real estate, buying all this stuff, doing real good, getting property and blah, blah, blah.
That's during the real estate crisis, right?
All exactly. I knew how to get in. I did not know how to get out. And so that is when I hit a really low state. I lost my job. I lost my marriage. I was sleeping in my car at one point. I was sleeping on my girlfriend's couch at one point. I was so down on myself, I couldn't take care of myself. It was really a tough time, because I had prided myself on, like, how could this happen? How could this happen? And I couldn't get out of that rut for a long time.
Well, what was that change at where, you really, like, say, hey, I got to pick up myself where I'm at right now from the bootstraps and really start moving forward and not be stuck on self-pity and whatnot?
Yeah, it was slow, but I started doing some personal development, some mindset work. I had a really good friend of mine who was a really good entrepreneur. I had meetings with him, just trying to get my mind right. But I'm gonna tell you, when it really did actually turn around was when my mom passed away. So you're going from 2008, still trying to get it, starting to come up out of it a little bit, but 2016 is when I finally said, you know what, you know, you have to boss up. That's where the whole thing came behind boss up. Like, that was really what it is. You have to boss up. And that's how my whole thing went from after that. That's why I do that.
How long it took? Because I need you to really emphasize that, because a lot of people don't realize when they encounter hardship, I'm talking about anybody right now.
Yes.
There is a process of mentally dealing with it, emotionally dealing with it, and then getting back on track as far as setting goals and whatnot. Tell me how you did it and how long it took, and then let's talk about boss up. Because I want people to understand that, because you're successful and you balling or what have you, it was a process.
It was a process. But I'm going to say this right before I say what I'm about to say. Time is a real thing. Time is a real factor. I remember this, my mentor told me that. He said, time is a real thing. You cannot get away from time. It could have taken me 24 hours. It could have taken me 25 years. It really, honestly, was because I wasn't willing to give up. That was really all of it. Because I kept feeling like, even if I die and don't make it, it was better that I tried. So I was like, it was more worth trying than not trying. So I was willing to keep trying. So I just say that that's a mindset shift, okay? Because you have to actually decide that you're good enough, you're smart enough, and there's no reason why you can't be successful. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know what the thing is yet. So don't give up. So I say that first. So from 2008, right, when I'm hitting like rock bottom, like 2009, I left my marriage. 2010, I'm still trying. I tried another business. I'm living with my girlfriend. I got, slipped in my car. All this is happening. 2011, 2012, trying to get my life together. 2013, starting to come back out, starting to feel better about myself, starting to date again, right? So all this is a process. Finally got a job because I was like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. I can't get a job, right? That was another stubborn thing that I had to get over, because you need earned income. That same mentor told me earned income is good. It'll pay for your mindset. It'll get you over the hump. It'll pay your life, right, while you do your business. So that was a big thing I had to get out of, right? A lot of mine was all locked up in pride. And I can't be this person, da, da, da. So 2016, so 2008 to 2016, what is that, 8 years?
Yes.
Trying. Okay, 2016, my mom passed away. Finally, who I was in the world changed. And I got real focused. My mother was the person I was trying to impress. So then I went to some personal development seminars, started working with a coach. And that moment is when everything shifted. So then 2018, my first book came out in January. And by 2019, I had hit 6 figures in my business. The next year I doubled it. The next year after that, I doubled it again. And this year I'm doubling again. So it literally, that's what I'm telling you. It was just like something, enough was enough. It was like the last number like if you're doing a lock and you have 4 in the numbers and you just need a 5th one, it was the last number that hit the dial.
Something just clicked.
It just go click. And I almost felt it. Almost physically felt it. And it was like, enough is enough. And I tell you now that the last click actually was, the last thing that happened was I stopped caring what anybody else thought. That was actually the last click. My mom passed away, and then who cares now? Who cares what anybody? If I fall on my face, who cares? If I don't even care. So that's hard for people sometimes. Some people come in the world and they just have that. I didn't have that. So I needed to not care anymore so that I can stop holding myself back.
Well, I want to thank everybody tuning in. We have the beautiful best-selling Boss Up publisher, Tam Luc. Salutes achievements of Justice Ketanji Brown. And y'all like and share this live because we about to get into it real deep. I'm kind of like warming up a little bit, but there's so much about Tam you're gonna learn about. She's everything in reference to like what she's doing with women. And I want to talk about the Boss Up series. When you talked about the idea, let's talk about the idea more about Boss Up. And I know as you have from Asians, I mean, you covering Mexicans and Latinos, whatever, you covering everybody around the globe. And I know it's about women empowerment. Could you explain that up to us?
Yes. So the way the idea came is I was already working with women. I was already helping women in marketing. The reason why I chose women is because there was something I had discovered along the way in marketing. Number one, I had to figure out what my message was. So while I was really writing my book, my first book, I figured out what I was trying to say. So that was the first thing. Second thing I had to figure out was who I was saying it to. And I thought, boss ladies, that's the ones I want to talk to. Those who I'm that woman. That's who I've been raised by. And I want to talk to those women. I think all women are this, but not every woman identifies herself that way. The third step was to leverage that message. Okay, so how was I going to leverage that message? Was by books, right? So when I started working with women on this, okay, let's help you get your message so you can really start being successful. You can work from home. You can spend more time with your family. You can retire your husband, all the things I wanted to do, okay? So when COVID hit though, all the ways that I was doing my business, I couldn't do it anymore because I was doing events, I was getting women together and I was getting them relationship and then selling them into my program. And I had to, so the thing my dad had I remember he told us was, in order to start a business, you have to find a need and fill it. That's it. Find a need and fill it. Well, we're at home, COVID, we can't do events. So I said, what do women need? Because I still have my same message. I still talking to the same women. How could I leverage that message now? What do they need? So that's where Boss Up came. I said, you got to boss up. You got to boss up. I was seeing women on TV that were screaming and hollering because they were losing their jobs and their kids had to be home and they were upset about all these different things. I said, we ain't got time for you to be doing that. Women, you need to boss up. You need to boss up. You're the ones that need to really boss up. So that's how the whole thing started in 2020. And it resonated immediately. So I started going on Facebook, looking for women, hitting that message to them. They were like, yes, they all got on board. First book, second book, third book. The third book came about because I partnered with a woman who had a stronghold in the Asian community. She was so excited about this Boss Up movement. It just so happened that it was right before Stop Asian Hate. I didn't know that was coming, but we had just finished that book and it just blew up. It was resonating. Next thing, we started getting to the Latinas. It was resonating. So I think for women, now sometimes it sounds like I'm saying, okay, be a boss woman and don't be a woman, right? Be a female. But really what I'm saying is that you got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in yourself so that you can, be successful in your business or whatever endeavor you're trying to do.
Let's speak about Justice Brown. I know you want to salute her achievement and whatnot. We know that's a large achievement and a male dominated position in the judicial system. Let's talk about that because it is historical. It does set a precedent. And what does it mean to women as well as Black women? This achievement.
Well, we just need to be able to see ourselves. I remember when several women, I'll just use Oprah Winfrey, for instance. I remember her saying that until she saw Beverly Johnson on the cover of a magazine, she didn't know it was possible, right? She didn't know that, we were beautiful. And a lot of what I do, and the reason why I am putting women on the cover, is so they can see themselves. For Justice Brown, for that huge achievement, for all the other little Black girls, for all little girls of color, for all the ones that thought they couldn't, for all the ones that are believing that, there's no way for us to move up and affect change. There's like 50% in the United States of the world is really female. There's 50% female, 50% male. So we have to be able to say the things that we need and get the things done that we need done, right? We have to be able to be there, whether it's called sitting at the table, whether it's called just showing up. And I think that as a Black female in that position, she can affect a lot of change. She can affect a lot of change just by standing there, actually, right? Even if she doesn't, make any major policies. Now I see her and I'm empowered. You see, that's why it's so important for us to be visible for all of us. And I'm telling you, it's not just because only Black females are going to be empowered. All women are going to be empowered when they see a Black woman show up, truthfully. Or I know for myself, when I show up as a Black female, all women are empowered. They're like, well, shit, if she can do it, I surely can do it. Right?
Right. Well, let's address this. And I won't lie, my channel is catered towards our people,
Yep.
but I am open-minded. Understand at one time women have the right to vote.
Yeah.
At one time, women could be beaten and mistreated and nothing be done about it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some groundbreaking stuff that being acknowledged right now by you, applauding us, talking about the 50 years chapter with Title IX, where they made they equal the playing field with sports with women. Can you speak about that as well? Because there is some groundbreaking stuff that has been happening, but let's talk about that as well.
And you're talking about just sports in general?
No way. You spoke about acknowledging the 50 years of women being mistreated in sports. You speak about the Title IX.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of something new to me, which I know there was bias with it, but I want you to talk about the Title IX and what that means as far as the 50 years of women not being treated even in sports equally.
Yeah, the thing is about, women in sports. I mean, and I was just having this conversation the other day with my friend, is that, I have a lot of mixed, views about a lot of different things. But when it comes to sports, women should be able to have the opportunity to do anything that they feel that they can do. And we should have the opportunity to do it, in sports, whether it's in legally, whether it's in anything that we want to do, because every woman is a little different, right? There's some people that are very talented in different things, but when you say that we can't do it, that's definitely something that it's because I have rights, I have to overcome. So for us to make that big achievement, it should be celebrated. It should be shown that anything that you put your mind to, anything that you're good at, you should be able to do and accomplish in your life. So I'm always about, celebrating those types of things for women, for Black women, for all of us, because, we can't just keep doing the same things as, we've been doing for all these years.
When we talk about you highlighting successful women, what that mean to you, and why do you do that? And of course, you're making it public, and I know you send the message out right. But talk about that, because there's so many women right now that's dealing with a lot. And I have to say this before you answer that question. The mistreatment of women is not fair. I think women deal with trauma, especially Black women, more than anybody, And I'm talking on a adult level, right? And I just feel like what you're doing is special, but I just wanted to acknowledge that, but let's talk about you making sure you highlight successful women.
Well, I tell you, there's a couple of reasons. It's very layered. Let's start off with just women in general, okay? So if I focus all of my energy on just women, I know the way women are made up. Women focus on everything else. So women in general will focus on their kids, their husbands, the planet, the next door neighbors, the community, the community over, their girlfriends. They focus on everything else, okay? So when I started to realize that women, if you just focus on women, you get a whole lot more done, because if you help them be successful, typically they have so many other things that they want to assist with and help with and support and fundraise for, and that's just the thing. So I started, people started saying, well, why don't you help men and women? I said, no, if I help women, I'm helping men. So that's just women in general, okay? Successful women. I need us to see us succeeding. This is what I need. I need for all women to see us succeeding. I need
What that look like?
What does that look? Success is really a mindset. Okay. You can be a successful mom, and that's what you want to be. That's successful. You can raise successfully 15 children if you want, right? So success is a mindset, right? But what I need you to be able to do is define success and celebrate it. So when I say boss up, I'm not saying boss up and make $1 million. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying boss up equals believe in yourself, right? You're not a second-class citizen, and you're not any more or any less deserving than anyone else to have success. So that's my main point. In my books, you'll find that there's some people just starting their business. There's some people that haven't even started their business, they have an idea. There's some people that just want to tell their story because they bossed up from a bad relationship. They bossed up from cancer. They bossed up from all kinds of situations. So the boss up movement is really not as much about money as it is about believing in yourself.
What do your coaching sessions look like, as well as your writing courses? And we're going to talk about that next, about the Pleasure House and international events, what that look like, and why people should look to you for answers and help.
I love it. So when I first started my business, I was a coach. I was just helping women to try to get the mindset I got. Just believe in yourself. All the things that I'm saying right now. This is what I was working on. 1-hour sessions, helping them to do writing sessions. I had writing retreats. I had all kinds of stuff like this. Did this for like three of the years. Then I realized, wait, my background is in marketing. And what I need for them to do is build their business. I need them to boss up in their business, right? I need them to actually get going. So I changed from coaching to what I call myself a business implementer. I was working with women, telling them what to do, giving them my system. They were not doing it because they're not good in marketing. So now we have an agency, we do it. So that's one part of the business. The other part of the business, which is the biggest part, is Women Who Boss Up. So Women Who Boss Up is a whole PR project. So there's 16 women to a book. We're working with them on getting their story from them, putting the book together, and then we're doing a marketing campaign to get them more credibility and viewers and views on their business. So that's another part of the business. But really, I do coaching when I work with them to get them, past some of the blocks they have. But really, my business is not focused on coaching anymore. It's more on implementing and getting you from where you are, literally getting you from where you are to the next step. I have a team behind me. I put my team on your business. I figure out the strategy for you, and we just make it happen. So that's what we really do. The first step is figuring out your message. So, because it always comes back to, what is your message? who needs that message.
Okay, cool. Now, I know we had talked about um how you started, you being inspired by your parents, hitting rock bottom and whatnot. And I know we're talking about people that's women that are successful or going that direction. But let's talk about the mental health and trauma that women deal with. Do you ever run across that? And when you do, how you deal with that?
Yeah, I deal with, I do run across it, whether it's with a client, whether it's with anyone else, myself included. So I was really going through some things with mental health during the time that I was stuck. Okay, I was really dealing with that. That's why I was depressed. I was undiagnosed depressed. And I had to, and thank goodness I had the mind to do something about it, not just sit down and lay down and go to, just wallow in it. I had the mind to do something. So I kept pushing, kept doing the personal development. I had gotten into a network marketing business during that time, part of that time, which is all about personal development. So that actually helped a lot. I did some coaching. I did some other things. When my mom passed away, I was dealing with another really deep depression. I had to do some work. I had to work with someone who was professional to get me past that. Now, when I come across someone who I see is having some issues, having some mental health challenges, my first thing is I recommend them to the programs that I did. I'll say, well, it sounds like XYZ is going on with you. And then we talk a little bit about it. Then I direct them right to the professionals because I am not qualified to really help them that way. So that's what I usually do. So I usually introduce them to Landmark, which is a great program, MIT, which is a great program. I have a couple of women who are in different books that are mental health therapists. I send them that way as well. But I'm telling you, in the Black community, in my personal opinion, and I've said this many times, I think Black people as a whole are more talented than any other culture, any other people. I'm not sure why that is. I'm not sure where that came from. I know where it came from. God just gave us just a lot more talent.
We're the original people. We're the original people on earth.
Seriously. I mean, and I'm not even just saying that. I've said this many platforms in front of anybody. I will say this over and over again. It is a blessing and a curse, though, okay? Because we can do just about anything, right? And the problem, the curse of it is we can do just about anything. We don't focus on the one thing. So if we can just figure out the one thing we're just going to grab onto instead of the 15 things that we're good at, just grab one of them and just go with it. Oh my goodness. That would just, I don't even know where the world would be if some of the people that are the most successful, they're not that talented. They don't have as much talent. They only got one idea, but they hold on to the one idea and they go for it, right? But I think for us, we're so multi-talented. And that was part of my problem too. And I'm saying it like this because a lot of those years, the reason why I couldn't get it going is because I was all over the place. I was trying to do too much. So one of the things I try to help women with is let's get down to the one thing, the message you're trying to say and the person you're trying to say it to. Then you can start getting some tracks and start really bossing up in your business and also finding some success.
I must admit, we talk about Black people and Black women. Our space is more complex. I hate to just group our space with women in general. I hate to say it because how Black women and Black people treated versus other groups.
Oh yeah, we know.
It's bad. So
yes.
Even from a psychological and mental standpoint, I look at it different, right? Even though I know there's trauma and mental health in all communities, but I was just unique and different. But I agree, very talented. I think tapping into that is an issue. I think identity is an issue, a focus.
Yes.
and then coming in one single mind, because African proverb, take a village to raise a child. We don't know how to get behind each other like that. We see it's rare. We don't know how to respond to, because there's been so much trauma and negativity. When we see something good, and I tell people, when you see one Black person winning, we all win, and we don't see it that way. We don't realize there's people like LeBron James have turned a billionaire on paper, you know what I'm saying, and assets, what have you. He's employing a bunch of Black people. We have seen so much trauma, experienced so much, and seen so much negativity that we don't know how to respond to seeing Tam Luc balling and doing good. And that's a sad mindset, and that's a conversation for another day. But moving along, let's talk about your foundation. Women in Vision, with Vision International, founder of Women in Vision International. Talk about that, because that sounds deep right there, along the same line we're talking about.
Right, Women with Vision International. You have to have a vision. Women can see, women in general. So, okay, you know Serena Williams. They just did the movie about her dad, and I think this man is incredible. And I even when before the movie started coming out, I started looking him up, started listening to some of the stuff he was saying to his girls, like listening to, and I was thinking, where did he get that from? Where did he? And they hated him because he had the audacity to not get with the programming, right? The programming was, you're not good enough. You're Black. You're not good enough. That's the programming that we have been under.
Yeah, that's thinking the same way too as the people looking at that.
That's what I'm saying. That's the programming. But this man had the audacity to not go with that programming and put something else into his girls. And so I'm like, where did he get that from? That's what I'm just so amazed by. Like, where did he get that from? Because if we can figure out where he got that from, then maybe we can bottle it and give it to each other, right? Maybe we can take some of that and just not, I mean, I saw him in interviews just on them, and I thought, what the heck? So what do I say? I said, some kind of way we need to get that, right? Believe that. Right? Because as you put into a woman, he said, if you give a woman the space to think, she will solve the world's problems. This is literally what he said, right? If you give them the space. And I thought, wow. Wow. Yes. Now I know why these girls did so well and why they believed it. And he wasn't even a tennis. He didn't have no tennis background. How did he teach those girls? That's the kind of thing. And so I watch that kind of stuff and just to feed my own soul, to feed myself, to keep staying focused, to keep believing in myself, because the world does not believe in me or want me to believe in myself. So I have to bottle up what he was teaching his daughters and keep telling myself. And that's what I think we could benefit from. Because there's no way made, and I guess I kind of benefited from my parents. I'm not sure where they got, the audacity to hustle like that, and to be successful. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. And I got to watch it though. So yeah, that's part of what Women with Vision International is like allowing us to see success, see a vision, have a vision. So a woman can see far. If you give her enough space to think, she can solve the world's problems. That's Women with Vision International, really is the bottom line of it all.
I have to comment on a couple of things if I come with a question, right? I won't lie, and I remember watching Richard in the stadiums while his daughters played tennis. He looked like a goofball. He looked goofy. I won't lie. He looked weird. Looked like he was always mad. And you'll be happy to see melanated people out there, Black people playing tennis, right? And you just root just to be rooting. But sadly, and I agree with you, that we've been programmed with basketball for us football for us. So for me, for a very long time, I seen us put in the box along with a lot of us. I think, and I say this the other day, right? I gotta shut out. I gotta shut out Netflix. Gotta shut out Prime Video. You're seeing so many melanated people on TV.
Yes.
So many black shows, and we don't realize. And a lot of times you got the producers. You got the directors. You got the Tyler Perry's of the world. You know what I'm saying? We don't realize the trailblazers of our people busting Hollywood wide open. You know what I'm saying? We don't see all the success. We don't see it because the community just divided. Like it's literally divided. You got the real militant group. You know what I'm saying? Yep. You got those who just trying to just do what they can do in the community. You got those who just living. It's so much, but people are winning out here. And we don't see it, and we see all the racism, systemic stuff, and we get caught in that. And I tell people it's more mental than anything. It's there, but it's more mental. Like, you know what I'm saying? And cause you was talking about it, Mrs. Kid the Negro, about we've been programmed so much to not go out the front door. We'll go out the back door. If it's not a door, we'll make a door. And I think we just don't see it. We got so much anger, and rightfully so. You got a lot of people that have. I'm a truck driver, and I kid you not, I went to FedEx. They had a grouchy white lady, right? She's sitting under AC, right? Yep. When she just shipped and received, you got black women and men out there sweating on the dock. I was about to videotape and drop it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I have my own trucking business, right? And I watched and it just hurt me. Like I seen this, like most of my time driving, you go in predominantly black areas, and you got white people, non-black people, running things, and it's just an insult systemically what you see. That's not to say give up and what have you, but it's real. So, that was a sidebar, what you were saying and what have you. And I think that was beautifully said and put. Well, let's talk about you as a publisher and writer. How it feel? I mean, you're helping. You're writing. You're creative enough to write. You're bringing up to share great information, and you also help people along the way by publishing. Let's talk about your career as a publisher and writer.
Well, I always loved to write. It was a passion of mine, even in grade school. Started in elementary school. Just I initially went to college for English because I didn't know what else I was good at. Honestly, I didn't know what else I could do. And my freshman year in college, they said that writers were broke. So I changed my major to marketing, which I'm glad I did in hindsight, but I still kept writing. So I love to write. I love to play with words, and I love when people are really good at playing with words. That's why I watch a lot of comedians as my biggest pastime, because I love that they know how to play with words. I'm watching how they set up their joke and how they write it. So that was a passion. Because I have a marketing background, and I didn't want to be broke. When my mom passed away, and I finally had the strong feeling to write my book for the first time, I had already years of writing already. I had journals, and all this writing that I had done. So when I finally had the aha moment that was like, oh my goodness, this is a thing. I could help women to build their business this way. I was able to take a passion that was always there, take my marketing that I already had, put them together, and that's how you ended up with my business. So, I love books. I used to love walking in bookstores and smelling. I was a nerd. I guess if you haven't figured that out. So walking in the bookstores and just smelling the way it smelled. So that whole thing came together as a result. I didn't know it was going to be successful. When my mom passed, I always go back to that moment when she did pass. When she did pass away, at that moment, I was like, it don't even matter. I'm just going to do. I don't care if people, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to do what I have in my heart to do. And that opened up the whole thing. Holy smoke. That is it. That was the thing. So, when I say to people, look at your passions for a clue, because, I could do that all day long. I don't have a lot of time to write anymore. I'm writing a book right now. And every time I take a moment to just write and play with words, it's like a vacation for me. I have personally written 3 books. I have now my book series. There's 12 books. I'm working on my personal 4th book. I've helped a lot of authors write their books. So yeah, it just happened.
I want to let you know I lost my mom in 2016, so we do share something in common. So every time you say 2016, I think about my mom. I have to be more specific, because you're a Black woman, of course. But for Black women, like, what are your message for struggling Black women and Black women that don't believe that they will be accepted, that will be appreciated? Because we understand that even in some of the music that we put that's on the radio, don't really sometimes don't shed a good light, on Black women, and then Black men. We have struggled to continue. We have struggled to appreciate Black women fully, and have engaged into civil war sometime in our community. And I'm not saying all Black men. I'm just saying some Black men and what have you, as well as women. What you have for them women? Because even though you're talking about women you're helping, but Black women are at the bottom total pole when you come down to these different groups and what have you. What you have for them?
The only thing I can do is go back to my own story. My mother's story. When I was 4 years old, my mother, me and my sister, and my dad was abusive. I watched the abuse. I watched it. My mom left my father. He was running after us. She left the city. She was struggling as a single mom. She went back and got her hair license. We were living with cousins at the time. She found out she was pregnant with my brother. So now she has 3 little babies, single mom. And we moved out of the city away from her family. So this is why I always looked up to her, because even though I was little, I remember her telling me, you're going to have to be a big girl now. I remember that. I remember us going to the babysitters because she had to get in the system so she can get us together. But my mother also started her own hair salon. She happened to have that talent. She bought her own house. I'm not sure how she thought of that. But back in the day, maybe the house was $50,000. I have no idea, but she did it, right? She was a single mom with 3 little kids. She got remarried 5 or 6 years later. I remember I went through the same thing, difficulties. I remember I was trying to get on the system at one point because I was so depressed, was so down. I didn't see any other way. So this is what I say to all of us. And this is going to sound so easy for me to say, because you're looking at me and you're thinking, oh, she's successful. She can say that. She comes from a certain family. Maybe she can do that. No, it all comes back down to, do you believe in yourself or not? I have traveled a lot, and I know that the whole world copies Black people. Not just this country, but the whole world copies Black people. They want to look like Black women. They want to sound like Black people. They want to wear they are now putting on hair ties on their hair, just like Black people. Before, they looked at us like we're crazy. But now everybody, and the crux of it, I think, is women, Black women. Our bodies, our faces, our lips, everything about Black people is being copied, not just in this country, but around the whole world. I will go into a country they don't even speak English, and I have heard hip hop playing coming out of the stores, okay, on the streets of different countries. That tells me that the programming that we're getting is just some BS. Okay, that's what tells me. Because if we're affecting that much marketing and people's money. If we're making that much money just from what we've created and what we do on it every day, that means that we're worth way more than we have any clue that we're worth, right? That gives me a lot of power, right? When I look at women, women are incredible. I don't care where they come from. I've seen women come out of just the worst situation and somehow boss up and get themselves in school, own businesses, do all kinds of things. It's all mindset. Success is mindset. You can come from the worst situation. You have to have faith in God, believe in yourself, and know that the BS is BS. The BS is not true. Find a way to get out of that situation. It's easy for me to say that, but I've seen it a lot, seen it over and over again. So that's how I truly, truly feel. My cousin, we had a really bad tragedy in our family. My mother's sister, she was murdered, unceremoniously murdered. She had 4 kids.
Yeah, but sorry to hear about that.
And it was a tough situation. Her family was already bad situation anyway. And my cousin came out of that. He's one of the smartest guys I have ever met. And he was raised in a tough neighborhood, tough situation. But he is the brightest light I've ever met. He is the smartest person I've ever met. His personal development is stellar. I don't know who told him to do it, right? But he did. Some kind of way he did it. So I can tell you, if you can come from any background, but you have to, at the end of the day, don't believe the BS. Everyone copies us. They'll say that, we always say we are queens, kings, and queens. I happen to believe that. I really happen to believe it, right? We are kings and queens. And so if you keep on believing it, and like I said, success is mindset.
Well, I have a couple more questions. I want to thank you first for coming on the channel. I want to thank everybody tuning in for being patient with us. Like and share this live. We're going to have to do this again, real talk. But I want to talk about Justice Brown, and I want to talk about a couple more things before we exit the building. But when melanated women see Justice Brown and what she had been through, going through Congress to get to go through that awful experience of being nominated, what can we draw from the achievement itself, and what she was up against, and even there's a civil war, I believe, in our own community, because we critical of everything. You know what I'm saying? What can we get? Because it's about the best-selling author, BossUp, publisher Tam Luc, but we also acknowledge achievement of Justice Brown. I want to go there because I don't want to talk about everything else and we not bring her back up before we close out, because I just feel like it's important that we understand what's going on. That's all.
Yeah, we get to, I know what it is, but we get to somehow learn that we need to celebrate each other. It's tough. It's tough because maybe that's not what you see around you. Maybe around your neighborhood, maybe your family's not like that. Maybe it's, so like you said, so much trauma that we've experienced that it's hard to celebrate who they think they are. How they gonna try to blah, blah, blah. It could be any of those kind of conversations. Women are like that a lot too, can be like very not celebratory of each other's success, who she thinks she is, what she's trying to do, she thinks she better, that kind of stuff. That's why I said it comes back down to mindset, right? Working on yourself, fighting those urges to do so. Justice Brown we have a system in this country of racism and it's set up that way. So you're fighting against a whole system. You're not fighting against a couple little things. This is what's happening. And if you have a system that was set up that way, I'm not surprised that what she had to go through. It's unfortunate what she has to go through, but I'm definitely not surprised. And I bring this up just because I just happened to have this conversation before. My parents started their business. They were buying a house. They were starting their business trying to get a loan. This is back in the 90s, or late 80s. They had to go to 13 different banks and they were all turned down. Was it because they didn't have the money to buy the house? No. Okay, it wasn't. It was because they were people of color and they didn't want them to have a house. They didn't want them to succeed in that way, right? I know that. I watched that. And I was amazed that they still went for the 13th time. Why did they go again? Why did they go again? Why did they go again? Who gave them the thought or the audacity to go again? They could have easily at like number 4 said, you know, they don't want us. They ain't trying to give me no money. They ain't trying to do nothing for us. They ain't not trying to help us up. No, they're not. I'm going for the 5th time, the 6th time, the 7th time, because I believe in myself. I watch my parents that do that. Those are the kind of things that I got lucky enough to watch. And so when I run up against things, we went to go try to get something. I walked my butt in there and I know dang well they ain't treating me right. I've many times still to this day, all the time, don't get treated right. I know why, but does that make me say, well, I'm not getting it no more? They don't want me to do such and such. I don't care. We're dealing with a whole system that's jacked up, right? So you just got to find another way, find another person, find another round. You got to be smarter than that, you know, and we are. That's the point. We are smarter than that because I'm a queen.
I'm a king too, so.
That's right. And you a queen, and you a king, and you figure it out because we too smart for that. You know?
Right. You have a summit coming up, BossUp Summit. Can you talk about that briefly if you want to? It's in October, right?
It is in October. So this is going to be, I think, my 5th summit. We do an online women's summit called Women Who BossUp. And we have 42 speakers come into that summit. These are all the women in my last 3 books, Asian Trailblazers, Inspiring Women Professionals. And that particular book, Inspiring Women Professionals, has almost all women of color in that book. And then women in real estate. And I'm really excited about this book coming out, this summit coming up. Please definitely check out Women Who BossUp Summit. And I would love for you to check that out. It's a 4-day summit in October, at the end of October, and it's going to be amazing.
Well, I do have a website, PR phone number, as well as email and description of videos. So if you want to know about the summit, you want to purchase a book, you want to get any one of her services, definitely contact her. Please do. Your last words. I just want to say it was an honor to have you on this platform. I think you deliver so much information, and I love how you address things in a way whereas you were human. You know, you really spoke to the issue. We touched upon some very important things I really want to revisit. I think you touched it already, and that's us receiving and appreciating each other when we winning. And, you know, too many times we winning, we don't know how to do that. We really, and then we be saying, "Oh, they ain't doing it in the community." You don't know what they're doing in the community.
Yeah.
We want to work hard, get all their money, just give it back in the community, and they have nowhere to know. It don't make sense sometimes. Conclusions we come to, you know, and we don't know how to draw off the experience and be inspired. We expect to just try to change the world, and they got their family, their life, and everything else going on. And you know, so I appreciate you definitely touching on that. But I would like for you to share your last word with everybody. You know, I really appreciate you coming on. If you want to stay through, I got a few comments and what have you. But thank you so much. And share your last words. Which people want people to know about you, your services, or what you're doing in the community, your website, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, I celebrate all women, all people. Actually, I have a saying in my community: #help a sister out. And the hashtag is Help a Sister Out because there's enough sky for all of us to succeed. Me helping you succeed is in no way going to hinder me from succeeding. So help a sister out. So what we do is we want you to succeed. I need you to succeed. The more women of color, the more Black women, the more people of color, the more African-American men that make it, that do well, that I see, it opens up another door for me. And that's how I see it. I was so excited when Tyler Perry got his studio. I was so excited because you know what? That's a huge step for us as a people. Every time I see another Black person winning, I just won. So we need for each other to win. And I'm so excited to help you keep winning.
Right. So thank you so much for coming on the channel. Always feel free if you want to come back, anything new or what have you want to share. There is a few comments if you want to hang around for that. I could go through. Michaela Dawson, thank you for coming through. Peace, blessings, Major, looking sharp. Thank you. Avenged Ancestors, what's up, brother Major? Miss Tam Luc in room B1 first. Black man, hello, my people. All praise to the Most High. B1 first, always struggling and striving against the most satanic, corrupt side on the planet. Right. Me Engagement Solution. They looking. Allegra Ho, how you doing, sister? Hi, Major. I love this interview. Tam, you look fabulous. Okay. 100 Black Reels say, open your damn eyes. He said he's listening. Come back and say, everybody get your substance ready. Those who think they're above, you will soon show them. You will soon show themselves below you, and it won't be your fault. All right, cool. Whatever that means, but I appreciate that. But I get what you're saying, my brother. But thank you so much for those who comment. Thank y'all for watching. Please like and share this live. For those who are gonna watch the replay, check the sister out. She on fire. Thank you, Tam. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you having me.
All right, take care. And for everybody else, I want to thank everybody coming through. Appreciate everything. As always, I want y'all to know to be safe out there, to be smart, and just be you. This is Major TV signing out. Peace.
Let's talk. Yeah. Doing it from the heart, that's the only way of doing it. Giving the food for thought, cause these Jews are real jewelry. Remember, we used to march for peace. The days Dr. King, remember, we would walk the streets showing our unity. Yeah, strength in numbers, we need to talk among us. We need to show more love and be more supportive. Product of my environment, something wrong with the soil. Soldier with no platoon, cause every day it's a war. Doing it from the heart, that's the only way of doing it. Giving the food for thought, cause these Jews are real jewelry. Remember, we used to march for peace. The days Dr. King, remember, we would walk the streets showing our unity. Doing it from the heart, that's the only way of doing it. Giving them food for thought, cause these Jews are real jewelry. Remember, we used to march for peace. The days Dr. King, remember, we would walk the streets showing our unity. Let's talk. I ain't saying that it gotta happen overnight, but we gotta make a change to preserve life, serve a greater purpose, and start with you and I. Gotta plant seeds of hope deep in your mind, and let it grow to something you never thought it would, and give back all the blessings to the neighborhood, just the way you should, the only way to do it. This is Major TV Music, Black Media. Doing it from the heart, that's the only way of doing it. Giving them food for thought, cause these Jews are real jewelry. Remember, we used to march for peace. The days Dr. King, remember, we would walk the streets showing our unity. Doing it from the heart, that's the only way of doing it. Giving them food for thought, cause these Jews are real jewelry. Remember, we used to march for peace. The days Dr. King, remember, we would walk the streets showing our unity.
The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society. finds himself in exile in his own land. So we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned.